Hello Internet, my name is Andrew. Behind me here is my Caterpillar 112 motor grader. I've been in the process of giving it a cosmetic restoration. Some friends and family members suggested that I document the process. That's where we begin here. I do have some videos on YouTube of it, but nothing really of the work that I'm doing. I'd like to bring you along. If you could like and subscribe, it would help me understand if this is something that people enjoy. If it is, then we can make more of these videos. One thing that I'd ask you to do is leave a comment down below if the audio or the video is not very good, so I can make changes in that department. So don't hold back. Scary thing to say to the world of the internet, but that's what I'm looking for. Give me some feedback so I can make changes. And here we go. So let's do a quick walk around on this so everybody's got an idea of what's going on. As you can see, we've got some oily messes. We've got a lot of worn and rusty materials. The thing has the appearance that it's been at the bottom of a lake and clearly had a few paint jobs. You can just make out Caterpillar here, and underneath that you can see a different text of Caterpillar again. We've got the lichen growing on it, which is kind of a neat feature, but I don't think we're going to keep it. Into the cab, nothing but the creature comforts. Metal seat. Up in the headliner, we've got all the bees and wasps that we could ask for. The deluxe heater, that's got the little tube that should go up to the window defroster, which is kind of neat. Knobs are missing on the old knuckle buster handles and so on, so we're going to have to dive into that. There's an interesting little placard up kind of behind the turn signal switch that says that this machine belonged to the Ontario Department of Highways. Gives you kind of an idea of how long this thing's been around for. Municipal machine. There's traces of orange paint in there, here and there. Started a little bit on the engine. This is kind of the point where people have said to me, you need to be documenting this, so here's where we land. I had the pony motor, it's got the gas starting engine, had the pony motor out of it, went through the whole pony motor. To fire up the diesel itself, I haven't had a part, it runs pretty good. No real issues with that. Some point in time somebody broke off the pinion handle, and the pinion itself is not seated right, so the only way to get it to start with the pony motor is to kind of jam a pry bar down in there and engage it yourself. So that'll have to be resolved, and I fear that it might mean splitting the machine. Hopefully not, but we'll see what happens. And I've just been working on grinding and sanding the paint on this side. Lots of scale and so on throughout. So it's a big process, big job. One of the things that drew me to this machine was the condition of the tires. Overall, there's lots of tread left on them and no severe cracking or pitting. So, but lots to do, and hopefully we can work through this together. Again, leave a message if you have any suggestions on what you'd like to see, or if I did something wrong, then I can do something different. Recommendations don't seem to hurt my feelings, so go for it if you've got them. So I guess the only thing to do at this point is let's get started. Now to get started, we're going to do some sandblasting around these areas here where it's difficult to get a grinder in to sand. And probably up through the boom, depending on how much sand we have. I've only got a few bags today. For sandblasting, I'm using a power washer and basically a pail that's full of the media combination. Got it off of Amazon. It wasn't overly expensive and it works pretty good for what it is. Obviously it's not as good as a high-end sandblaster, but it does the job. So let's get started. So the power washer just ran out of gas, which means it's time to take a break. And it's a very slow process, but we get there. Not a bad surface. I'd say overall it's pretty good. Can touch it up with the wire wheel and then put a coat of primer on it. But off in the distance, I hear thunder, and it's starting to rain a little, and I don't mind getting wet, but I don't like getting shocked. So we're going to pause this for today, and we'll pick up on a nicer day. And for you, it'll be a snap of the fingers. And we're back. It's been 2 days for me. For you, instant. You can see the area that we were working on has surface rust formed on it. I'm going to pick up where we left off and continue working our way across the front. Now I've decided that I'm going to switch out to one of these coarse discs. They're pretty good at getting rid of the thick paint, where the wire wheel is good at knocking off the loose stuff. If you get into thicker paint, it just kind of smears it around, where these will remove the actual thicker paint, but they're kind of expensive, so I prefer to use the wire wheel for as much as I can. But for this, I think it's justified, so we'll switch it out. Harder than it looks with one hand. Alright, I'll put you guys back on the tripod, tighten this up, and we'll get back at it. know if the camera can see it or not, but there's a number here, 3U145, stamped into the boom here. And I think there's supposed to be a data plate here for the machine's VIN or serial number, 3U145. For some of the hard to get at places here, the grinder just doesn't fit. So I've got this little pneumatic guy that works pretty good for those little places. Obviously stuff like this, it's more complicated. I'll just use the sandblaster for that. But we'll keep going with the hand tools for now. Here's where I'm going to stop for the moment. On this panel, still need to work our way up. You can see where I'd left off prior to making the video from before. We'll just work our way up the cab. Takes a long time to go around the rivets and so on. Well, we'd worked our way up the boom here, worked around the mechanisms. Still have to get rid of our lichen. Main part of the boom. This I'm going to sandblast. Did manage to get in underneath it with the little grinder. These brackets, I'm going to get rid of them, cut them off, and down into the scaff hire, and I'll have to sandblast here because it's a bit of tight quarters for the grinder. Their way across onto the circle. So on. Still lots to do. I think probably going to put a sacrificial coat of primer paint on it just to stop the rust from getting too far out of control. And that's that. And there you have it. Sacrificial coat of primer applied. Obviously in the area where we're cutting the brackets off, it'll get damaged, so I'm aware of that. And when we do the sandblasting, it'll be damaged. This is just to try to mitigate the rust because we're down to bare metal everywhere. So throw something on there, try to keep it as clean as possible, rust-free as possible. And I didn't videotape me slobbering it all over the machine, but when the time comes for me to put some actual color on, I'll make sure I document all of that. Well, I'm going to call it a wrap for today. Go in and have some supper. For you guys, this has only been a few minutes. For me, it's been an entire day of grinding and sanding. If you like what you saw, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment down below if you're happy with what you see, or if you're not. Let me know if I can make changes, and I hope to see you on the next one. We'll work through this whole project together. Anyways, have a good one and take care.